It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 4th day of June 2020. I'm coming to you from Forest, Virginia, in central part of Virginia, Bedford County, right outside of Lynchburg. It was a hot day yesterday. It was 94 degrees here. For you guys over there in England, Pete and Emma and all you folks that talk funny, 94 degrees here is, hell, I have no idea what the temperature is over there. No, actually, it would be 43 and a half. So that's hot for the first week of June. It was hot yesterday. We did have a cold front move through the night last night. It's only going to be 90 today. So I guess I need to pull out my woolen mittens since it's only going to be 90. But anyway, before I get down to the main story this morning, folks, I have to confess, the kittens, I have two kittens that now rule this household. Charmin and Cottonelle, the COVID kittens, they are mad at me. This happened just a little while ago. When I was at my desk working early this morning, setting up this broadcast and all the stuff that I do ahead of time, the kittens decided to turn my laptops, and I have two of them that I work from. I have two laptops sitting here. And they turn them into trampolines. So that makes it a little difficult to get any work done. So I said to hell with that, and I went over and sat in my chair, which is across the cave from where I am now. And they've decided that anytime I'm in my chair, you might have seen the pictures that I shared yesterday about this, that's time for them to go to sleep, to take a nap. So sure enough, this was this morning. Both of them are up in my lap and they snuggle in to take a nap. Now this went on for about an hour and 45 minutes. And well, folks, I had to go pee. So I had to get the damn cats up so I could go to the bathroom. And now they're mad at me. So I guess they've disappeared and there's no telling where they are. So that's my life with the cats. Okay, so I continue to try to do some things to shake up the this channel and make some changes and see if that attracts more people. Although I certainly appreciate each and every one of you guys, obviously, folks. But our main story this morning actually has to do with cruise ships, and they're basically embracing a new wave of technology. We talked about it a little bit on Tuesday about what Carnival's doing. But as the cruise industry begins ramping up for a return to service, it's simply all the cruise lines are looking at the way of doing things safely as far as COVID is concerned. And the major cruise lines have been using this downtime to explore new and emerging technologies being developed by companies eager to help with the problem. So we're going to take a look at the technologies today. We talked a little bit about the Texas-based infrared cameras that Carnival is partnering with, which will provide handheld and mountable thermal camera systems for crew and guest screenings. The company claims that its cameras have pinpoint accuracy when it comes to temperatures. This will make it easy to monitor groups of people in situations such as embarkation, and could also theoretically be used on board ships to make sure someone who had no temperature upon boarding doesn't develop one during the cruise. Now, thermal scanning won't actually tell if someone is ill. So you got to keep that in mind. And the more we have to go through the temperature screenings of whatever form they take, that still doesn't point out if you're sick and have the virus. But it will alert those that are monitoring if someone seems to have a fever, they're more likely to have the virus. So that's one of the major point of references for those of us that believe that things need to be done to make it safer for all of us. There's going to be people, folks, on the other side of this issue that are going to still scream and holler about their rights are being trampled on. I'm sorry, I will happily wear a mask. I will happily have my temperature taken. I will happily do any number of things if it makes it easier and more advantageous for me and quicker for me to get on a boat again. So that's just the way I'm looking at it. One thing that the cruise lines are still working on is how to accomplish social distancing. Some of the technology already developed by the cruise lines for other purposes could play a crucial role in this area moving forward. And the device that most of us seem incapable of living without, that would be our phones, could actually become a help to the cruise lines. All the major cruise lines now encourage guests to download their mobile app to their phone. These apps can be used to do everything from checking on the daily schedule to ordering pizza and have it delivered to your chair poolside. The phones and apps might also help cruise lines monitor how many people are gathering in any one spot, and if necessary, figure out ways to disperse them. If they have so much are allowed in given bar or given area, and they see that they got too many people in there, and they come up with some reason to move people along. It's a possibility. It's also easy to imagine a member of the ship's entertainment staff coming along to announce trivia is being held in the lounge, or the cruise director coming over the PA to urge guests to attend the show in the theater, or some way of moving people out of like a bar that's gotten too crowded. Now, if the same technology theoretically could help with contact tracing aboard the ship. So if a person actually gets sick, then they could track back from the person's phone. I could see they probably have to make some changes in their software, but they could track back and see where that person was and what people on board the ship might have been infected by this person. I don't know. Technology could wind up running into privacy issues, of course. I could see that happening now. I mean, there's people that refuse to wear a mask because it's the government trying to control their lives. Well, I'm sorry, but if my wearing a mask when I'm in public at my age, I'm 71 years old. I have lived with two people in a household that are 10 years older and more older than I am. So we still are sheltering in place. And if when we go out in public, as little as we go out, if wearing a mask keeps me from infecting somebody else, and in turn helps me from being infected and bringing that virus into this household, with three of us being senior citizens that are more susceptible to getting it, then I'm sorry, I got no problem with it. Do I like wearing a mask? No, I'm getting used to it. Doesn't bother me near as bad as it did. But there's just way too many people out there that aren't doing it. My niece tried to go to Kroger's this morning and came home because people were walking in the store without a mask on. So I don't blame her. I mean, that's helping to keep us safe in this household too. So she's going to go to another store where she knows that the people are caring and intelligent enough to wear the mask, as the governor has asked all people in Virginia to do. And there's still people that are fighting it. So anyway, then you've got Princess, has the ocean medallion technology that they've already started using. It can already be used to help members of a party track one another. From there, it's not that much of a leap, with the permission, of course, of the cruisers to expand the device's capability and make contact tracing possible should the need arise. I mean, these things are all things that are in the world we live in today. And we're going to have to deal with for some time, a questionable amount of time, until a vaccine is developed and completely tested and found to be effective and safe, and then is manufactured, and all of us that want it can get the vaccine and be safe from COVID-19. So in the meantime, I feel we got to do these steps to keep it safe. And I would like to get back to cruising, and the cruise ships are getting in line. I mean, they're working correctly on it. Again, later on this week, we're going to be talking to a CEO of Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line, and that's one of the things we're going to be talking about is the changes that they've made in their procedures. So that's one of the things coming up this week. Now, I'll be back and we'll talk a little bit about the weather after this. Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scootaround. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scootaround for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise. All right, we talked a little bit. You can tell I need a haircut, folks. I'm going to have to go out. I need both ends taken care of. I haven't been out to do this yet. But now that the businesses are open and they're doing it correctly, I am going to go get a haircut and a pedicure. I need both. So that's going to be on the agenda as soon as they're coming right after lunch to finish up the pool. So that'll be one chunk off my plate that I've been monitoring, because we're just within inches of having the water level where it needs to be. And so they're coming shortly to put in the railing and to do whatever they got, the salt added and stuff today. So the pool will be at least open, but it's going to be way too cold to get in, I would think, for a while, but we'll see. All right. So anyway, I'm going to go get a haircut in the next day or so. We talked a little bit about the tropical depression or whatever it was back a couple of days ago. It's been now a named storm. It is the third named storm of the year, Cristobal. And this is a weird one, folks. This is a very, I've been tracking hurricanes now for a number of years, but this is one that's doing some things that are very unusual. It's called Cristobal. It's the latest example of weird looping and sometimes stalling paths that tropical storms and hurricanes can sometimes take. Now, I could not find this online anywhere. So I made a screenshot of it. I couldn't get it to where I could download it and get a clear picture, but so I made just a screenshot of this. So see this track here? It formed down over in the Yucatan Peninsula, and then it went out and headed west, and then it turned north and came back east. And they're saying it's going to turn south again and loop around completely before the sucker heads north and heads for Texas, because this is the path it's going to take starting later on today. It's going to head for Texas or the Gulf Coast. It's much the track of many, many storms over the years. It could hit anywhere from the panhandle of Florida to Houston and anything in between. New Orleans, anywhere along there. It's possible to go there. Now, we're not talking, this is not a major storm. It's not a hurricane. It's not going to kick their butts. But it's the first, storm of the season that's going to bring some rain and maybe some wind and, cause some minor damage and stuff. I mean, they're used to it down there. Then we're looking at, possible landfall of sometimes Sunday or Monday up on the Gulf Coast. But it was just kind of neat the way this thing looped around, and it could end up doing a complete 360 before it heads toward the U.S. Mainland. So we'll see. And then this time of year that can totally change, and the sucker just disappear in no time. All right, one other thing that I have to point out, of course, according to our friend Dave Monk, I don't know if any of you guys follow Dave or not. Dave is probably one of the leading travel writers in the world, and he has done a tremendous amount of writing about cruises and cruise ships and so forth, as well as a lot of other travel-oriented things. As a matter of fact, I'm pleased to announce that I'm going to be doing a chat with Dave also this week. It's probably going to be a taped interview, so we'll be doing excerpts on this program, and I'm sure I will have it up as a video as well, but that's going to come later on in the week. But anyway, there was a significant development 2 days ago. The riverboat Nicovision, and that's the Nicovision, set sail 2 days ago. It not only carried 110 excited passengers, but also the hopes of the entire cruise industry. Yeah, folks, this is the first ship afloat since the shutdown with passengers. Now, it would normally be a very inauspicious journey from Passau to Dusseldorf, but since it's the first sign of recovery, that has shut down vacations to millions of people, it becomes a very important event. Could this be the start of honest to God cruising again? I can't promise you that, because we don't know for sure if it's going to go or be allowed or have any problems, but it's a cruise ship sailing with passengers on it. Now, yeah, there's a lot of things a little different. It's less than 50% of the number of passengers. They've had to have health screenings and their temperatures checked. All the passengers have to wear masks. And it's a 13-day voyage along the Danube and the Rhine rivers to help maintain the social distancing. They cut way back on everything. Services, of course, are regularly disinfected. Meals and drinks are brought directly to the table, so there is no buffet service. And this is a river cruise. Now, you guys also know that I've never been on a river cruise. I would like to do it at some point in time, but it's a cruise. It's sailing right now, today. Now, is that going to be the start of something new? I don't know. All right, before I get over to chats, I asked our friend Emily Archer up in New York, about her favorite cruise ship. And as always, Emily can turn a simple answer into a story. I just love her to death. So I asked Emily about her favorite cruise ship.
My favorite cruise ship and only cruise ship is the NCL Dawn. But I do have something to admit, because many years ago, about 15 longer than that, I was on a mini cruise. So I don't really count it because I was all the way in Africa and we went up and down the Nile. And it was a family of us, about 10, 15 people. And there's other family, about 10, 15 of them. So that was all the families that were on the ship. So to me, in my head, I don't really count it as a cruise because, again, we stopped at maybe 2 places, because even back then, being on that ship and where we were in Africa, it's not that safe. So so for me, the official NCL cruise was my first official cruise.
Thanks, Emily. I love it. The NCL Dawn. And I asked our friend Brenda Sacher, our contact in Norway, what her favorite port of call was, and she told me that it was Barcelona. And she's not the first one. I think when the John Reitmeyer liked Barcelona as well. I love Barcelona. Barcelona is my favorite city in Europe. I've been there a half dozen times. I love it to death. One of the most interesting things I had in Barcelona was I walked into, sat down in my hotel. It was the old Plaza Hotel in Barcelona for breakfast one morning. And it was pretty crowded. I was by myself. And Ed Asner, the actor, walked into the restaurant, and he didn't have any place to sit. And I said, would you like to sit with me? And he sits down, and we had a lovely breakfast and chatted. And he also loved Barcelona. He was there vacationing after filming a movie in Russia, I think. But anyway, I got to meet Ed Asner and had breakfast with him. But I love Barcelona. But anyway, thanks, Brenda. We appreciate that. Okay. Let's get over it. I haven't looked at comments at all this morning to see who's here. So let's start up here at the top. Gretchen, hope you can use the pool today. The only problem is that Amanda, my niece, was out to check the water level just a couple minutes before I went on the air. And she walked down the first step, and she said, it's pretty cold, which that for me means, oh, it's way too cold. I might have to get a wetsuit to get in the pool. I don't know. Do they make wetsuits for big fat people? I don't know that either. Nikki says, hi, y'all. Amy says, howdy. There's Emily. Emily Archer. Good morning, everyone. Yes, good, Emily. We just talked about you. Tom Henry says, good morning to everybody. Tom is on a PC today. How do you tell? The highlighted names autofill on PC, not iPad. Oh, well, yeah, I never thought about that. Emily says, hey, Tom, electric shock, laugh out loud through the Princess Medallion. Yeah, you know what? Some of the technology, folks, well, I don't think they're going to do anything wacko with it. But I mean, there's always a possibility. If you're one of those people that's gone with the conspiracy theories over the year, there's going to be a lot of room for thinking about what you could do with some of the technology that looks like it's going to be used. PT gave Tom permission to attempt weed eating. Just did a trial run on the front. The right side of the driveway was waist high. Luckily not thick, just bad weeds. Tom, I'm sorry that you're weed eating, but I hope it came out okay. That's one of the jobs that my back will not allow me to do. The weed eater kills me. It's just the wrong angle for me. Emily says, I'm getting used to wearing my mask too. Some people in my neighborhood don't do social distancing. They don't have a mask. The kids do not wear them either. The kids can become ill too. Yeah, and I tell you what, I understand how seriously people want to get back the country open and businesses open. And, Virginia, we've been a little slower than some, which has caused a lot of consternation toward our governor. But to me, I'm sorry, but it makes sense. Yeah, I'm losing my business totally out of it because the requirements for me to keep my funnel cake trailer going, they're just making it where I can't possibly make any money. So there's no sense in me to continuing on, which is okay because I'm semi-retired anyway. But I mean, I'm a businessman, so I understand the need to get the businesses back and to get back to normal. But I'm telling you, folks, I don't think we're done with this yet. I think we're going to have problems. As one of the things that, and I hope I'm wrong, I hope all the protests this week, when I have good feelings and bad feelings about that. I understand the reasons why it started. I understand that whole part of it. The looting and stuff, I am so totally opposed to on the other side of it. But what I'm afraid is that the masses of people, we're going to see some significant spikes again in the whole COVID thing. And I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just mightily afraid in a couple weeks' time, we could have some terribly bad news. I mean, and again, folks, I was wrong. But, the first state was Georgia that I thought opened too early, and they were able to do it without having significant spikes. Hats off to them. Texas had some significant spikes, and their numbers are coming down nicely. Hats off to them. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. I understand that too. So I'm hoping that the protest part of things, the part of it that needs to be done and needs to be said, I hope that doesn't cause us problems further on with COVID. I'm afraid it might. So Amy says, my last cruise was the Sky Princess in January, and they had the ocean medallion system. I loved it. I never had to touch my room door, and I could find out where my sister was on the ship. Amy, there's things about that. I've not used the medallion system, but I've heard some awfully good things about that. And that's one of the things that Princess has developed. Gretchen says, I watched all the videos on Sky Princess because I was booked on Sister Ship Enchanted Princess. Now I'm really jealous, Amy. Yeah, that's when Gretchen got canceled off of. Tom Henry, for a swim, in the new pool, I can bring my clippers and give you a buzz cut. You know what, Tom? I might take you up on that. I don't know if a buzz cut. I don't know if I want to go that far though. I got clippers in there if I wanted to do my own. I don't know. I don't think my shoulders would cut my own hair anymore. Gretchen wants to see that too. Yeah, I'm sure you'd all want to see that one. Nikki says, haven't used the medallions yet. We were booked on Enchanted Princess. Yeah, that's sad. Yeah, sorry. I think everybody that cruises has lost at least one cruise this year. There's everybody that I've talked to, and a lot of people, have lost 3 and 4, like Tom. Emily says, I recently watched a YouTube blog of Universal Studios Florida. They have a couple places in the park where you can rest and take off your mask, but only in that resting area. Good idea. Well, again, it's outside, so that part is good. And I'm sure if you still use the social distancing things and have a safe zone to let your face rest if it was bothering you, I can understand a problem with that. One of the things the Virginia governor did, if there are medical reasons or reasons where it does significantly bother you for one reason or another, that's one of the reasons that you can get by without using a mask. Tom says, I think a 90-degree right turn might be called for. And Gretchen says, where is Bonnie? Bonnie was having physical therapy this morning. I did see that. And we'll see how she does with the therapy. She was a little worried about because of other issues with the therapy. But anyway, was at therapy at least early this morning. I don't know if she's gotten home yet or not. Tom says she's maybe recovering from her hip problem. She got shots last week. Yeah, and she's started the physical therapy from the shots they gave her or something. Anyway. And Gretchen says she couldn't talk hubby into the cruise. Gretchen says she couldn't talk hubby into the cruise on the Sun. Too early for him still. There's a good one of the reasons that I'm wondering just how well we're going to be able to do for a while, folks. And Gretchen is as a prime example where she would love to go on a cruise. Hubby says, I'm a little bit worried about that yet. I'm not sure it's safe. I can understand. I can understand that. And I could never argue with anybody on that one because I feel a little bit that way myself. Do I want to be on the first ship to sail? No. I'm going to watch it closely and monitor the situation. But yeah, I'm a little concerned about that. I don't want to go through those. And again, at my age, especially. But yeah, I can appreciate Gretchen. I can appreciate your feelings. I can appreciate your husband's feelings as well. I understand that. And I think that's a major issue for the cruise lines to overcome. And that is the folks that want to cruise, but don't feel it's safe yet. Just like airlines, are you going to be safe getting on an airplane? I'm not real sure about that one either, but obviously to go on cruises, at least I need to fly. Although I'm the first one I take, I might just drive to Florida this time. I've got no reason not to. I don't have anything to keep me from doing that. I can take my time, but we'll see. I'm going to play that one by ear yet. Tom says, I'm starting a new demonstration. Peaceful to have the year's Encore home port moved to Norfolk. What do you think? Yeah, that would be nice. Who knows how long that's going to last, however. We'll see. Amy says, I don't think they had to wear masks the whole time on the ship. I read they need them when they come out of their room and go down the corridors or to get on and off the ship on tour buses. Well, yeah, that makes a little more sense. Obviously, there's probably times that they can take the masks off. But yeah, I'm just tickled that there's a cruise ship someplace right now. To me, that's great. That's the best news I've heard forever. And again, I don't know anything about these people. I don't know. I'd never heard about the Nico Vision until Dave wrote about it. And by the way, that's going to be another really interesting chat with Dave Monk. So I got a couple good chats coming up this week, folks. It's really good. So Tom Henry says, as I was leaving PT today, a reception person had her mask down and started coughing. Oh my, I said, ooh. Yeah, that's not good. Remember that comment in case I get sick in 2 weeks. Let's sincerely hope not, Tom. Yeah, Gretchen says that's really bad for a healthcare receptionist, and that's the truth. Emily says a reception person should have had her mask on, even whether she was coughing or not. I completely agree. Tom says, switch the hose to hot water faucet to warm it up. Well, that's the problem, Tom. I don't have hot water in the outside spigot, which is where the pool water is coming from. And it is city water, but I don't have any time. I can't run it through the hot water heater. But about, what's that, 20, 30 gallons? We're talking about, 30,000 gallons of water. It's cold. So is the pool filled yet? I'm within, it was, when I was out there, I don't know, an hour or so before I went on the air. It was about an inch short. So I have, Amanda is monitoring the situation while I'm on the air, because we have a point. When it gets to that point, we shut the water off until the guys get here to finish all the stuff that they got to do. And we're watching it pretty close. What was the name of the hotel in Barcelona? Nikki asked. I believe it was the Plaza, if I'm not mistaken. It might have had some other name of the something Plaza. That's been a long time ago. That's been 30 years ago, I bet. John Reitmeyer. I was just talking about you, John. Good morning from Minnesota. Glad you're with us. Everybody says, Tom Henry says, where is Jason? I haven't seen Jason this morning. I still got to get with Jason to tape our little, his favorite cruise ship and protocol. We've talked several times about it. We dodged each other on emails back and forth several times. And I'm going to continue doing that, folks. I've got a bunch in the bank, and we'll keep using them. And I find it's a nice little feature, and everybody gets to see everybody and enjoy everybody in a little a relaxed atmosphere like you guys do with the chat that goes on constantly. Anyway, Tom Henry says, you can drive as long as you have mobile internet and keep up with my show schedule. Yeah, well, I was going to do that, Tom. I'm going to keep up with the shows as much as I can, even when we get to the cruise ship, if it's at all possible. There's no guarantee that it's possible, but we're going to try. Anyway, John, just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean they're not after me. That's my friend John. I like to tease John about his business. John is a hemp grower, and of course, I claim that he's my favorite pot farmer. John, by the way, in case you don't remember, John and I co-host the show with Pete from London, the guy that talks funny, on Sundays. We have a good time, and our shows they've been so good lately. My goodness, they've been outstanding. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. You probably will see a test maybe sometime later today with me going live from poolside. I've got to test out the signal out there to see if I can, in fact, do shows out there. I don't know if I can or not, if I have enough Wi-Fi signal, but we're going to find out. So if you see me going live, and with that vein, you'll know what I'm doing. I won't try to do a show out there till I know, in fact, I can do it without totally screwing things up. So we're going to do some testing with that today. Other than that, folks, as always, thanks for being with me. If you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. We regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, and we do travel and cruise industry news on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock. And then I'll post anything new that happens in the meantime, or break in with a live breaking news broadcast. So we try to keep you up to date on anything that's happened in the travel and cruise industry space. So that's it for today, folks. Thanks for being with me. Y'all stay safe. Stay at home if you have to. Wear your mask, please. I do appreciate each and every one of you that do that. But stay safe. Be happy. I'll see you Saturday. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for watching today's Travel and Cruise Industry News. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.